Ready.
Yo, blessed love. This is Max Breeze. It's time for the lions to tell their own story. See? God bless.
Blessed love. Yes, I. Lion Voice Network.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it's Exodus. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Ras Tafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like I too. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them, roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Ras Tafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Ras Tafari.
The time has come for lions to tell our own story. Yes, you're listening to Lion's Voice. I is Ras hailing from the island of St. Croix. Yeah, I'm bringing to your Rastafari vibes. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Babylon born when Rasta come together. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Because Babylon done when I and I come together. Look how we live together, look how we work together, Oh, Babylon done when Rasta come together. Yeah, like Rastafari, His Majesty and Empress men in bless. Yeah, man, hailing from Ras St. Croix, Ras Bacha here.
Aye.
Empress Manel, Alliance Science. You're universally unfold, be told. Blessed Lord, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the Lion's Voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the Lion's Voice.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the Lion's Voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to Lion Voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Yeah, the Lion's Voice. Raw.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the Lion's Voice.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Well, great is the Almighty, and greatly to be praised in the city of Haile Selassie I, the mountain of His holiness.
Yeah, from Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, you know, the whole entire continent.
Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, from Accra to Addis Ababa.
Yes, it's beautiful continent, better control, mama.
Very beautiful.
From Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, I smile. From
I hear you call Mama Africa. Been so long since I seen Mama. Father of Africa set the law. The lion come and dismantle Babylon flaw. We gonna use solar energy, use sanitation to build the ecology. We utilizing green technology. We hailing Haile Selassie first without apology. And then we build the youth them economy. We dismantle Babylon monopoly. We teach the youth them how to live properly. Tell them make sure them got the title fit them property.
yes, this beautiful continent, better control.
iRoots Records, an online shop for reggae and dub vinyl, CDs and Rastafari books. Rastafari owned and operated for over 15 years. We ship worldwide. We have many titles from Frontline publications in stock. We have 50 plus Akabeka Midnight titles, which we believe is the most of any shop in the world. Special invite for the Lion Pride. Use code Lion's Voice and save 10% store-wide. If you spend $125 or more, the discount goes up to 15%. Visit us online at www.irootsrecords.com. The time has come.
321 Productions and RBG Alliance presents the 3rd annual Conscious Reggae Concert Family Unity Fest,
featuring the Abyssinians, Aisha Bell, Mary Isaacs, Ragalux, iBrave, and many more at the Jammings in New Kingston. 2,500 pre-sold, 3,000 at the door. Children under 12 for free. Don't miss the Abyssinians live in Kingston, Jamaica. Can't be missed. History. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, the first. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Reading Ras on the Front Line. Welcome to Reading Ras on the Front Line, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Today, we have the legendary elder Ras Sekou Tafari returning to us for this monthly show that has become one of our favorites for our Global Lion Pride. You know, we're going to get into some geopolitics. We're going to get into some books. I have a couple of these books here with us today. We're going to get into the books of the month. So stay tuned for a powerful episode. If you didn't see our episode this morning with the Rastafari Council of Sierra Leone, you may want to bookmark that and come forward to that later. I had a chance to reason primarily with Chief Fode and his beautiful Empress. Empress Kenya. And what a powerful couple, and hearing their reasoning. Unfortunately, we had some Wi-Fi issues, so we didn't get much of the other members of the council, but we got a master class in Sierra Leone and West African history this morning. I'm telling the item, it was a real treat. Make sure you check out that episode straight from Freetown, like no one else is doing right now. We're bringing content straight from the continent for our global Lion Pride family. Also, we are giving thanks for our beautiful Lion Pride. If you weren't there this morning, you're looking behind me and saying, what's going on with the studio, Ras? And we had a beautiful celebration for my daughter who just turned 18 years old. So I have to big her up. May 29th was her Earth Strong. We went out, the Queen decorated the whole gates for her. Big bashment in the Bantu family. So let me just take time and big up my firstborn, the great Ya Asantewa, on her 18th Earth Strong. Milestone for I feel like I'm 25, so I don't know how I get an 18-year-old, but it happens. You know what I mean? The time is flying, and we have to realize that we are no longer as young as we used to be. We're young in iris, but the time is passing on. You see the gray in the beard, so you don't know. The time is flying. That said, before I bring forward our legendary elder, let me just take time to big up the greatest online community on the planet. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the IDEM, the Lion Pride, the Global Lion Pride, the greatest comment section on the internet, the greatest community that is growing every day. I have to big up the IDEM because without the IDEM, this is nothing. This is Iman talking to myself into a laptop, and that don't make sense. So without the IDEM, there is no Lion Voice Network. I'm coming fresh from the Africa Day celebration with Baba Senghor, with Baba Mosi. You saw that episode doing very well on the channel, over 500 views on the channel. We're just coming fresh. I performed. Great response from the community. I'll put that performance on Patreon for the Patreon family can see the artist side exercise. And I got so many comments and people say, you gotta do what's going on with the artists, you know what I mean? And they had them hear the music at the beginning of the episodes and the end of the clips and thing. But for I have to focus on, I can only focus on so many things at a time. The item know I'm an attorney. I have non-profit boards that I sit on, responsibilities. I'm a father, I'm a husband. Lion Voice Network is a full-time job. So the artist is suffering right now, but it felt good to get out there and to roar like a lion with some lyrics and thing. And the people love it. I'm telling the item, the people, them really love it. So big up everyone who was there. It's still going on, the event. Good turnout, good vibes. Big up Brother Carl, he was there. Whole heap of family, Dr. Walete was there. Whole heap of family. I got this book here from Dr. Walete, who also works very closely with Ras Sekou. These are two of the books we're going to be reviewing today. So I was thankful to get that. Big up everyone who supported the vibes. You know what I mean? Also, tomorrow, remember that tomorrow we will be having a town hall meeting for May for the Lion Pride exclusive. We're going to be welcoming Empress Danielle, one of our longtime Lion Voice Network subscribers. She's going to give a presentation. She came upon some information and is going to be presenting tomorrow at 1 p.m. The Zoom link is going to go out tonight. So if you're not a member of our Patreon, make sure you join between now and 1 p.m. This is not going to be recorded. So due to the sensitive nature of some of the information being sourced. but it's going to be preparing us for things to come. And I'm going to talk to Ras Sekou about some of these things. We'll talk about that in a moment. Just looking at where we are in the Gideon, we'll call it Gideon Watch. We want to hear his sound. But for those who are not part of the Patreon, I would recommend becoming part of the Lion Pride on Patreon. Why? We have high quality people. You know, these are people with a vision to see that Rastafari independent, non-aligned media needs the support. They're a unique set of people. I'd like to welcome Sister Aisha, aka Diana Collingwood, who is the latest member of our Lion Pride on Patreon. She came in strong. $25 a month attribution. I know she wouldn't mind me just blocking that sound to encourage others. So again, I have so many powerful empresses and powerful brethren. You know, it's pretty balanced in our inner circle. But we're asking more to join. You know, my initial goal was 100 people. That was last year. I didn't make it. I'm just trying to get to 50 right now. We have 48. We're right hovering there. At 48, we get to 48, someone joins, somebody drops off, and it's like we can't break that 50 people barrier. So I'm hoping at least 2 of my Lion Pride today will become members of Patreon to push us into the 50 Patreon territory so we can start our grant program. I just need 2 of the items to step up. So I'm hoping we'll see that. Big up to one of my bona fide sisters from long time, Sister Hayden. When you hear, what do you have to tell the people about Rastafari? That's this sister here, Sister Hayden Betty, who I've known since I was at Howard University, and she's still with I from them time that she met her Kingman at the IDOR study group. That's how far forward we go. You know what I mean? Bona fide sisters. So that show you we never come off the battlefield from them time there, and we never burn bridges, we never break the bonds. And she has been one of our great Lion Pride on Patreon supporters. So big up yourself, Sister Ada, and I also call her Sister Rashida. Good sister, and always joyful for City Eye in the comment section. That being said, big up to iRoots Records, Akashic, another Patreon supporter who is advertising with us. Make sure you buy iRoots Records. The first person that shows me a receipt that they purchased something from iRoots Records, let me know. I'm going to send the item a special gift. I don't know what it is yet, but the first person for bust the seal and send proof that they have purchased. Because we want, when people advertise with us, that it makes sense. They are getting that support. So if you're a part of the Lion Pride, support our advertisers. Also, the Conscious Reggae Concert, I just know another brethren who's advertising with us. Make sure we support the Abyssinians live in Kingston, Jamaica. That's going to be historic. You know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Satamasa Ghana, the catalog is crazy. So make sure you support the Conscious Reggae Concert. And Brethren Ijano, we're going to interview him about this concert. And we're doing our best to try to get the Abyssinians on here as well. That's going to be monumental. So stay tuned, Lion Voice Network. We are working overtime. The ILMC, this is 2 episodes in 1 day. So we're not playing around with people. So without further ado, let me bring forward our esteemed elder, Ras Sekou. Hold on, we look like we lost the elder. Let me just hold on until he joined forward. It looked like, okay. It looked like we have a little issue. He was here, but let me just wait until he joined forward. But yes, family, we are moving on. We are building. We are strengthening. The IDMC, what's going on in the Middle East right now. We're going to get Ras Sekou's perspective. Again, we're going to have this segment called Armageddon Watch. so that we can just see where are we in the journey. No man knows the hour or the minute, so don't mistake this from me saying that the world is going to end, and no, we're not those people. But we have to know that we are witnessing history unfold. We're witnessing the changing of the guard right now, you know what I mean? So let me bring forward our esteemed elder, Ras Sekou, so we can hear his perspective before we get into the books, 3 books of the month for African Liberation Month. We want to hear from our esteemed elder, Ras Sekou Tafari, about what he thinks about what's going on. We're hearing about peace treaty, then there's no treaty, then bombs dropping, then this, then that. You know what I mean? What really going on? And then in Africa, a lot of things are happening in Africa. The conflict is spreading. The war in Russia, Ukraine is expanding. World War III is hot, family. And as Rastafari, students of the prophecy, students of geopolitics, we have to talk about it. And there's no better elder on the planet that I would rather have this reasoning with than our esteemed co-host and one of our most faithful contributors to this platform, our elder Ras Sekou Tafari. So let's welcome Ras Sekou. Royal greeting, Ras Sekou.
Haile
Selassie.
Selassie.
Yes.
To the beautiful sister and daughter of the eye.
Give
Yes.
thanks. Give
Yes.
thanks.
Great
Give
Ras
thanks.
Tafari was walking in a powerful name.
Yes.
Yes, right. Yes,
Yes.
right. So yes, so tell her happy Earth strong. We dated, I dated, and so on, and to keep on moving forward. We need the youth. The youth are the flowers.
Same way. And it's my first 18-year-old, So we
Yes,
are
there,
we
there.
are we are we are getting there, on the
You're
back
breaking
end.
ground. You're breaking ground. Breaking ground. Every day we break ground. So it's a
So
continuation of the work of the ancestors,
same
We
way.
continue work of the ancestors. The Asantiwa, after a great spirit,
Yes.
a great woman spirit in terms of, she stood up against the British
Yes.
when the men cowered out. When the men
Yeah,
cowered
man.
out, the Asantiwa call upon the women and say, listen, we taking on this struggle. This is not a man struggle. This is a struggle, and we women can't allow for the stool to get out there. So they took a strong position against the British. So we have to remember, yes, Antiwa and the leadership. So
I'm telling you.
you know,
I'm telling you, we're proud, as the brethren says, a proud father moment, you know what I mean? And big
yes,
up
yes,
everyone in the
yes,
comment section.
yes,
I'll let my daughter know the Lion Pride is wishing her happy Earth
yes,
Strong.
yes.
But Ras Sekou, before we get into the 3 books of the month, I want to introduce a section called Armageddon Watch,
Yes,
because
I.
there's no better elder to talk about what's happening in the world than the eye. We hearing about peace treaty, then there's no treaty, then bomber
Yes.
drop. Where are we right now globally with what's happening?
Well, at this point in time, there's a lot of theater. There's a lot of theater on the political world stage. You know, America is in denial. The leadership of America is in total denial of what is going on around them and what they had inactivated on February 28th, especially. So you have a whole America right now is in a quagmire, a serious quagmire, because I don't think that the kind of leadership that is running the country, people know whether they're going or coming. So I say at this point in time for the Americans stage, we had to look out for maybe a civil war we imminent within the United States, because the first Civil War never really completed and didn't give the right property rights to those who were deserving of it, which is what we call the Black Americans. The Black Americans, the people who were born here of African descent who came here, they wasn't given the right. So that Civil War has to continue. Also, the nature of America, 1776, you had what you call revolution, but the revolution was for land, but it was for a land grab by Europeans. Africans who were slaves and so on still hasn't obtained the right to obtaining what we call the 40 acres and the mule. So we see that a lot of stuff going to be happening because this gas price and oil price and petroleum price and petroleum is about $150 real price on the market, not what you hear. So you have a whole up and down situation, and who is feeling it? The masses of people, especially in different parts of the world, especially the poor nations, what they call now the nations of the South. So, so it's a turmoil, it's a new alignment, a new center, and excuse me, and the African man, black man and woman is the one who in the rise with it, because the whole world had to turn upside down, and those who were down going to be the ones who going to be up, and those who were up will be the ones who will be down. So that is the nature of the revolution that is coming, and that is the nature because we live for the principle. When Shepherd T.D. Rogers created the Shepherd's Prayer in the Holy PB, which we now know, and we as Rastafari, and I as Rastafari, we call it we say let it naked be clothed. We say and we say let the naked be clothed. Let it deal with the homeless, the needy, So this is our prayer, and this is what we call on in terms of the chant of Rastafari, the chant of the High Majesty. Let it humble be and in needy
Hungry
be
fed, naked clothed, sick nourished, lay
yes,
protected, and the infant
yes,
cared
yes,
for.
yes, yes. The chant of the Rastaman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what you said is so key, because even though the price of gas is risen, it's being manipulated. So we're not feeling the full shock of the
Exactly.
20% of gas that is off the market. And they're saying that by the end of June, July, it's going to hit the West. And that is when, because the base of support that the government in America has is going to erode very quickly once that hit their pocketbook, because I remember during Bill Clinton administration when they came up with the thing, it's the economy, stupid, Everything in America revolve around the economy. People don't really care. You can do anything foreign policy wise in America and business will go as usual. But as soon as you hit people's pocket, as soon as people have to line up for gas, you have to leave your house early to fill up your tank, you're going to see a different America.
It's a different America. Because you remember, it's food, clothing, and shelter.
Yes.
And these are the basics. So when a nation is not being supplied with the basic items of living, of necessities, you're going to have a problem. In 76, you had the American Revolution. So by 1780, 1781, 82, you have a French Revolution to fight for liberty, sovereignty, and equal rights. So you had that going on. Just around 1777, 1778, women and groups of people will see King Louis XVI and applaud him. And not too long after that, he was put to death at the guillotine. So I just saying that to say that you may have a certain amount of rights and people may be applauding you at this point in time. And that could turn so quickly.
Yes.
You will be amazed in terms of how that will turn. It's the same thing you would see. If you looked at the revolution led by Toussaint Louverture, it's the same thing you see is how fast that look up plantation turned, and and Toussaint had to take leadership and taking leadership of men taking leadership of the whole shebang,
Yeah.
because he had to take it to the fullest in terms of he had to know when to use what tactics and when to use what strategy, because the strategy remained but the tactics changed. So at points in time he had to change. He had to say, oh, I'm fighting the British with the British here to fight out the Spanish, and so on. And you know, so you have to know the logistics of the thing. And if you don't know your geography, and if you don't know where the civilization of a people, you go underestimate them and you go make mistakes.
Make mistakes. It's true.
Big
It's
big
true.
mistake. Because
Uh,
you understand the cultural history of a people. You're talking about a place like Persia. Persia is over 25 to 3,500 years old, right? And so you're talking about they have a long history. They are civilization per se.
yes.
America is 250 years old next month in July,
Yeah.
in a month and a little bit. So America in experience what they experienced, you know. So you have to respect those who were there before you. That is a civilization you have to respect. You know how many people tried to conquer Persia? Peter the
Holy.
Great. I know, yeah. I know how they go through Alexander, and they all get beat back. One time they had to burn out the whole of Russia, and as they came in, they just burn out the whole of Russia, and
Yeah.
and then they enclave up around them. So it's the same thing that we don't
Yes.
understand. That you have to understand tactics and strategy. You have to understand the way regimes operate. If you is 250 years old, you and you didn't realize that your civilization is coming to the end,
Hmm.
because what is happening, capitalism is moribund, and capitalism in America is eating up itself. So it's just a matter of time. You're gonna have the decline and all the diminishing returns of all the sacrifices that the black people grandparents and great grandparents made is going to come back to bite them, because you have to treat people properly according, and that's one of the things about man's higher consciousness. The whole
Yes.
idea,
Yes.
right?
Uh,
Man has to aspire to a level of consciousness, so that
yes.
consciousness goes beyond awareness, right? So sometimes when I hear people say, "Oh, that brother conscious," I say, well, you got to be careful of the word you use, because conscious is not the same as aware.
Hmm.
Conscious means is another state of mind. So you have to be aware of that state of consciousness, because you have to aspire to that state of consciousness. For instance, like when you look at Rastafari, we see a liberty. We see what you call a way of life. But you gotta understand the struggles of that way of life went through to become what it is now after going on to 90 years, right? So
Yes, I.
so you gotta understand how you link that with what's going on even now. Because even in this state of this Armageddon, what you finding is life goes in a circle.
Yes,
Life
I.
goes in a circle. Life is a wheel. The Lord the wheel. So if you disrespect the ancestors and you ain't give to their sons and their grandchildren and so on, you ain't respect them to give them back what they deserve, you can expect that you're gonna live a prosperous life. Sooner or later, you gotta give that back to those who deserve it. And who deserve it? The black race, whether it's in America, the Caribbean, Africa, because it's cycles, the cycle is coming around. The cycle is coming around, and this is the black man cycle now. Those who are down gonna go up, and those who are up gonna come down.
And
Is it.
some people may say the dragon time is now too. The
Yes,
the other part, and Bridget here is saying that the farmers can't get fertilizer they need at the price they could
yes,
previously, so food shortages are on the way too. And
yes, yes,
I've been
yes,
saying that for months
yes.
here.
Well,
Uh,
I remember you saying it, and I confirm it because I would say that that percentage of petroleum that they use to make up fertilizers and so on.
yes,
And you're talking about a reasonable amount coming through the Strait of Hormuz. So if that can reach eventually, and this is planting season,
yeah,
this is the season for planting. So if you miss this planting season, that means for the spring and into the winter, it's going to be a rough period. It's going to be a rough period. You're talking about tomatoes is probably about 50% higher than it was last year.
yeah.
So if you don't realize what is going on, we heading for trouble.
We're gonna
Right?
be talking about it tomorrow. I hope the eye can be available tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
I'll
Yes,
send the
yes.
link because we would
Okay.
love to have the eye
Yeah, I will check
present.
in.
Yeah, we're
I'll
gonna
check
go
in.
deep. We're gonna go deep into it, in
I'll check
terms of
in.
the preparation that we need to do, um, to start to protect ourselves. I've been stocking up on lentils and
Yes,
kidney bean and all of
yes,
those
yes.
things that we
All
eat.
the beans, all the beans,
Yeah,
all the
all of
beans.
the beans, the
But
protein.
lentil is crucial.
Yeah,
Uh,
lentil.
yes, sweet potato.
Yeah, all of those
Yes,
things.
yes. Sweet potato
Stockpiling.
is a good staple.
Um,
Uh,
be- and it's not about doomsday prep. It's about how much are these things gonna cost with the increased
no,
price of
no,
fuel.
it's a reality prep. It's not a doomsday prep. It's a reality prep.
It's a reality prep.
It's a
Because
reality prep.
even if you can get these things, how much more are you gonna be paying at the grocery store?
Exactly. They all
So
go to and these are staples. So all
these
the
are
basic
staples.
staples you need to have this. You need to
Yes.
have. And those
Uh,
people who have little areas that they could plant, like for instance, if you have your own house and you have a plot in the front or the back, you could put on some tomatoes, put on some okra, and things like that. If you could put on some ginger and so on, put on something.
yeah,
Try
yeah.
your hands on the earth, Mother Earth.
And as the brethren said, we had a Baba Qual on here. As he said, the key with the emergency preparedness is that you have to rotate out the things them. So you have to use them and then you replenish. So you buy the
Yes,
surplus, but you don't just have it there sitting. You
yes,
rotate, you take the old things and you use those things and then you put newer things. So you're always replenishing your
yes, yes,
emergency
yes,
supplies and using them
yes.
so that you
And
don't
and
get
you're always going
overwhelmed.
to have by doing that. You're always going to have a portion of something.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. You know.
So
You
so so this is very important as a brethren throw some prophecies that chant down Babylon by any means necessary, double unto her double. So the
Yeah,
problem that we have with that is that many of us are still in Babylon,
yeah,
depending on Babylon for
yeah,
to ship the trucks them in. We're not
yeah.
we're not self-sufficient.
Yes,
Most of our Rastafari communities, whether in the
yes,
Caribbean, whether in Africa,
yeah,
wherever we are, we're still dependent on the global supply chain.
yes.
So if it collapses or if it's compromised, the whole of we in our problems right now.
Serious
So
problem. Serious
these
problem.
are the things that we want to start to wean ourselves off of and make sure that we are prepared and that at least we're having the reasoning. And that's why Rastafari independent non-aligned media is so important, because we have to have the reasoning. We can't just pretend that if we ignore it or if we prepare individually, that's going to be enough. We need collective action. And, I've been trying to play that role in terms of just sounding the trumpet. And I hope the item appreciate love that we are sounding the trumpet here on the Lion Voice Network, that prepare, especially for the fathers, myself, if you have children, we don't have the luxury of not being right, because when baby want food or you them going to be looking at the eye. They're going to be looking in the eye face like, what are we going to do, daddy? And you never prepare, you know what I mean? So we don't have that luxury as the man of the house for not be prepared. So also things like batteries, solar charger. I'm looking for a solar generator right now to purchase, you know what I mean? These are little things that we have to all have on hand while we're in the jaws of the beast, so to speak.
And even when we return home, we need to have those things.
Yes. This is just general life.
Yes.
Because and that's you touch a key point, Ras Sekou, because this is not going to be a short term one and done. This is probably the next decade is going to be a very turbulent decade,
Yeah, it's a resetting.
It's a reset. It's a global reset that's taking place. We're coming out of the Bretton Woods system that was put in place after World War II. That system is being replaced.
Yeah, that is gone.
Yeah, that is gone.
That is gone. The US dollar is not going to go right away, but it's basically good. It's going. Just the one of the tactics used by Iran in terms of saying that all the money should be, if you're going to pay to go through the streets, you should pay in Chinese renminbi. That what you're going to have is a more rapid decline of the US dollar, as we know as the petrodollar from 1974, with King Faisal. In 1973, you had the war, the war in the West with the Israelis, and they fought that war, and King Faisal said, we Arabs, we really independent on oil. We used to eat dates and we're satisfied with that. So it's you who need the oil. And since you caught up in the oil, I gonna raise the price of oil. And he did raise the price of oil tremendously. And then America called them in to use the US dollar as what we call as the petrodollar. That means everything, all transactions, when sold in oil sold for US dollar stays here in the United States, and it's now sold, bought up in treasury bills, bonds, and so on.
Yes.
Companies, shares, stocks, and shares, and so that stays here, and the Arabs, whether it's from UAE, whether it's from Saudi Arabia, whether it's from Kuwait, etc., they're the ones who make the profits in terms of dividends and so on, and those dividends go back to those places, Oman, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, etc. And so what is happening now? Once the US they didn't sign the contract, but it expired last year around November. So that's Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is the ones who was in the lead of it.
Yes.
Under King Faisal. So now you have this I think it's the young man who is the inheritor of the throne now.
Yes.
I think is I think they call it MB.
Yes.
Michaels. But he is he's I don't know how strong he is to hold on. There hasn't really give the Palestinians the kind of support that you would have thought
No,
that
no.
they would give you the kind of money that they have. You know, even UAE is now like a vassal of Israel, and
Yes,
in fact, if it's a vassal of Israel, that means it's also a further vassal of the United States.
yes, yes,
Imperialism, you know, and they have been the ones who putting out money to help with backing what do you call the Muslim fundamentalists who is against young girls going to school and stuff like that, and
yes.
they want to rip the country, and they're acting on behalf of the UAE. Because UAE and those places is desert places. Them places don't have no
No,
real strong natural, um, we call
no
facilities for
natural
the ground.
resources.
No,
And
yeah, no
if
natural.
the war starts back, Iran said they're gonna wipe it off the map because
Well,
they're
they're
gonna
gonna wipe
integrate.
not only they're gonna wipe off, because remember that sanitation plant
Yes,
is,
I was just gonna say that.
I mean, Saudi Arabia alone is 70% dependent on
The
water.
desalinization.
Yes,
Yes,
you know,
yes. So,
you know,
and one of the things we have to understand about the UAE is that they're supporting the genocide in Sudan because
yeah, yeah,
they are extracting tons of gold out of
yes,
Africa
yes.
to
And
finance their
they don't have
country.
no gold, so they take
No,
the gold, right? They steal the gold out of Africa, and then they take it and they process it, and then they send it to America, and so on, to be resold. Uh,
yes,
you see, and they making the profit on the different stages, because the refinery stages, when you sell them, go like in terms of downstream and
yes,
also upstream the product. The profit
profit.
margin are really are.
Yes, yes.
You know,
And
so
gold right now is the de facto world reserve
yeah,
currency.
yeah.
They're not, the
Gold was
dollar
about
is still the
500.
official. Yeah,
Huh?
five
Yeah,
thousand
five
dollars an
thousand. It was
ounce.
about 5,000. It was about 5,000 just before the war started.
Yes,
Then because of the oil prices and so on taking place, it went down to like 4,005. Well,
yes.
it's floating right now.
Yeah,
But
it's still gonna go. It's gonna go up again. It's gonna
yeah,
go
it
up
is. It
again.
is. It is. It is.
Again, I want to stress to the Lion Pride family that this is a long-term war. This third world war that we're witnessing, don't look at it as an isolated incident. All of the conflicts are being driven by the same set of people around the world. All of the proxy wars that are taking place is the same two sides backing and fighting in different theaters. So what we need to do, because it said two elephants fight, the grass get trampled. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
We have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, because these governments are not thinking about the innocent. They're not thinking about the working class, the middle class people,
Not thinking about the
um,
poor and
the
the
poor
needy.
people. Yeah, they're
Not
not
thinking, not
thinking
thinking
about.
about the young population.
They're not thinking.
When you have people want to send train to war now, right? Not negating what took place in 1965 to 1975 with Vietnam, right? So poor people train must go and fight and die on behalf of a president who refused to fight in Vietnam 5 times. Said he had burned spurs, you know. So these are realities that we have to face, that we must know at all. Who are we fighting for? Are we going to fight for people who refuse to really give us what is needed in terms of food, clothing, and shelter? Right. Most of our money goes out to this country.
Yes.
It goes to Israel, gets at least $10 billion a month, at least, which Israel can now have free education, free hospital care, right? Free transportation and so on. And people in America can't have that. no housing, accommodation. People with jobs, dear brother, they work, but in the night they had to go to they had to go and check in with their family.
Yes.
Yeah, these are hard realities.
Hard times. Hard
Yes,
times.
you know, and we are in the richest country in the world.
Yes. Yes. So, collective security for surety.
Yes,
We need each other more than ever. So
yes,
your local community building relationships around you. Always I say hug up a farmer, in your local community, know who the farmers are, know who are the people growing food. I mean, big up yourself. If you are one of those people who are a community and a bridge builder, those are important people to stay close with in these times because we don't know what tomorrow may bring. But that said, I want to get into the books of the month. This is your Armageddon watch here on the Reading Ras on the Frontline. We have one of our most astute geopolitical analysts in Ras Tafari, our legendary elder Ras Sekou Tafari. He just broke down the petrodollar, the formation of the petrodollar for the item. So I hope you are taking notes and know that the changing of the guard is upon us. They're bringing out a digital programmable currency. So they'll be able to shut off your money flow anytime. One of the things I heard the U.S. Treasury Secretary say is how they were grabbing all of the cryptocurrency from Iran, seizing people's crypto wallets, and cryptocurrency was being sold to us as, transparent and independent and sovereign. And now I'm hearing the government say, oh, they're just locking off people cryptocurrency. So I've always been very wary of cryptocurrency because it's digital. I'm not telling people how to invest. I know a lot of people love Bitcoin and the blockchain, a lot of people, but I always say, boy, with this, cryptocurrency and them being able to see every transaction, it sounds good until the government get involved and they can lock you off or find out the technology. We don't control the technology. So, I think tangible assets, land, commodities, those are the things that we need to be looking into invest in, so that these are things that have utility, meaning cryptocurrency doesn't have any intrinsic utility. It has an agreed value. Land has an intrinsic utility. You can plant food, you can sustain yourself. Even gold has uses that you can use. It's a electro transmitter, one of the best things that transmit current. You can, it's in all of your electronics, these things. It's very malleable down to the atomic level. Gold has use. Invest in things that has use. I think that is one thing we have to really stress to our people. But I want to get into the books of the month. What is our first book, Ras Sekou, for
man's
this?
man's higher consciousness
Okay.
by Hilton Otima.
Break it down,
Yes,
Ras Sekou.
right. So Hilton Otima. This is one of the books we published by Hilton Otima. He wrote about at least about 52 books around that. We have about 17 or 18 of them right now. But this particular book, Man's Higher Consciousness, it deals with how we as man has come to who we are now from what they call 250,000 plus years in this formation that we are in, to look at life in different levels and stages, because when you say man's higher consciousness is a matter of how we develop as a people, as beings, as human beings, from one stage to the other stage in terms of development, etc. So, and how man's mind is a powerhouse in terms of what controls everything in terms of positivity, negativity, etc. right? And how we find equilibrium, and that is why sometimes I tell some people when they come, I hear them use the word conscious. People are conscious, and I ask them what do you mean, because conscious doesn't just mean you're conscious by wearing a dashiki or a kaftan or a long gown or stuff like that. It's a state of mind. It's a state of when you move from one state of awareness, because what awareness is a state before you reach that consciousness and even to evolve into the higher consciousness of man. And when you reach in the higher consciousness of man is when everything now becomes equal in terms of one. When the Rastaman say I and I, it means I and I means one, the oneness, the equality, the movement in terms of the positive vibration in the universe, right? And this is is important, because consciousness doesn't mean a person conscious in terms of saying black or saying green or saying brown. It moves to another stage of consciousness where man now, and when I say man, I mean man and woman, humanity in totality. It means that I and I come together and form in one stage of development, the highest stage of development, where we respect each other's all as human beings, you know, and know how we could emerge into that cultural consciousness. And that cultural consciousness where people might create, and some people may say religion, but it's a state of cultural awareness and development that comes from the early stage of I and I developing as human beings, as man, and in this stage as African man or if you or black man or Rastafari man, Rastafari woman, black woman. So all that stage is development of consciousness as we emerge and how we respect one another. That when we reach to that state of consciousness, we know we don't own anything. This book is not my book. I'm just the custodian for this book at this point in time. This book will move at some stage to someone else's hands. Even the collection of books in my own library, even the money or the houses or the cars or the land that you possess, right? That is why in African societies and the more ancient societies, no one person owned land. It was a communal thing, right? It was collectively owned by the collective. So even at times, even in our awareness and consciousness, when people came to see the so-called leaders in Africa in a particular nation. For example, if you go to Ghana and they came to Ghana to see the chief, right, to get land. It wasn't one person. It was a community of people, maybe 12 people. And if one person was gone, they have to wait until that person returned in order to meet. So these are the high levels of development that was taking place in Africa before the Europeans came. So it's the same thing when we talk about man's higher consciousness. Man's higher consciousness in terms of positivity. You could call whatever you need to call and bring it into being. So it's not just words. You got to take words now and place it into action. So it becomes one with you and with the spirit, with the universe, with Mama Earth, right? And Father Time. It's a combination of all of that gives the energy. So whether or not they bury you, or whether or not they burn you, it doesn't matter, because either way they can't get rid of you. You're indispensable, because you are consciousness. You're not just a physical being. You go beyond that. And once you reach beyond that stage, you are the stage of total oneness, the stage of identification, the stage of where we as a people emerge into one, in the state of um what we'll call that highest level of consciousness. And that is a state that we all have to emerge and move forward to in that finality in this realm of life.
Give thanks, give thanks. I want to show this book here, The Mission.
Yes.
This book here was written by one of His Majesty's librarians who was a German, and he talked about the book collection that His Majesty had. And I bring that up because of the importance of owning your own Trueberry. You know, a lot of time we get used to looking online for stuff, but if the grid goes down, you're cut off from all of the knowledge. Every higher conscious person should have their own books, physical books. So when we bring Ras Sekou here and we're selling books, it's because this is an investment in your mind. And I as Ras Tafari, this should be part of our liberty. Every Ras, whether you're up in the hills, off the grid, whatever, you should have your own supply of books that you can use to sharpen your brain and to lift your consciousness. And books are things that you don't just read one time. You know, books are things that you read multiple times. And as an attorney, I can tell you, when we look at a document, you know, we have what we call a first read, where you just reading to just get a picture, but you never just depend on one time reading through something. You always read multiple times, because every time you read something, you're going to find something else. You're going to see something. That's how the human brain works. So I want everyone to just make the investment. You know, let us purchase the books. And I say to the Lion Pride, the item should be putting aside money to budget, so that when we have this every month, you can buy one of the books that Ras Sekou. We have 3 books every month. Just make it part of your mission to try to purchase one of the books every month. And one of the reasons why is because we want Ras Sekou to be able to build bookstores all across Africa. So we want him to be able to have Frontline books as the same way they have Barnes and Nobles. We want Frontline books all across Africa. We want them to be able to be wholesaling books to retail operations like iRoots Records, who is one of the distributors of Frontline books. But we want, you know, Ras Sekou is the powerhouse for us as Ras Tafari. He's one of our foundation publishers. I often tell the story as a young Howard University student. When I was coming into the Liberty, a lot of the books I would read, I would look in the front cover and see published by Frontline books. And later in life, I would get to meet Ras Sekou. This is why I always use the word legend, because he's a legend to I don't business what the next person say, because he was legendary to I in Iman personal trad. And this is why I feel so honored to be able to have a platform where we can have the elders. So I don't just want us to listen to the knowledge and feel good. I want us to spend money, because what we're doing is that we're investing in our own liberation. We're at war. One of the things that I love about the reasoning we had today with Chief Fode from Sierra Leone, he said it wasn't the transatlantic slave trade. It was a war that never stopped, and we're still at war, you know, and we have to look at it that way. And if we look at it that way, then we understand in war, you have to invest in weaponry. The greatest weaponry we have is our mind, and we need to invest in feeding our mind, keeping the mind sharp. So all of the resources that we have, we need to allocate some to make sure that our weapon supplier, which is Ras Sekou, is strong. So I, you know, a lot of the item will watch this on the replay. Big up everyone who's here live. We do have the greatest comment section on the planet, and big up everyone in the comment section, sharing tips, sharing knowledge, sharing energy in the comment section. So if you're watching on the replay and you're not here live, try to make an appointment to come on one of these lives so you can read and participate in the comment section, because it really is the best on the internet in terms of just the energy and the vibration. And it's not a yes man factory, but it's a respectful, positive place. So I really do give thanks. And again, this book is less than $30 US. A lot of us spend that on a meal, you know, so this is a meal for your brain. Let us support the great Ras Sekou, the great Frontline Books, one of our sponsors, and let's purchase and make sure that we can really full up. Anything else you want to say about this first selection, Ras
Yeah,
Sekou?
I just want to say that Hilton Otima is, I would say, someone who took time off to study humanity and man in terms of their progress. And he looked at it from a perspective of the higher state that we may aspire to be, and which we all could acclaim it at some point in time once we put ourselves and discipline together. We can all equate to that. I would say Haile Selassie was a man of higher consciousness, you know, in that just the way he conducted himself in this physical state, you know, was a man of higher consciousness, you know. So it's the same thing you would say of Marcus Garvey, you know, man of higher consciousness. We all are here now aspiring to be to the level of a man's higher consciousness within I. And it's when we reach there, we would know that of who we are and what is our place in this struggle, the struggle for what we call the progress of man, for the development of humanity, for the oneness of man, you know. And
I have
that's why I say I love Rastafari, because
yes.
Rastafari is the total fulfillment of that oneness, of that I and I, you know, that total level of awareness that the same unlettered man who come out of the most downtrodden part of Jamaica and is now that level of awareness. No one would say, boy, look, the same man we call the black art man. And now look what that man, that same black art man, children and grandchildren all over the world.
Yes.
All over the world.
Yes.
In every crook and cranny.
Every crook and cranny.
Yes, all over the world. That the so-called black art man, right? Who is the Rasta man? Who is the most peaceful and most loving man on the planet?
I have a question. One of the things that we struggle with as Rastafari is the sexual discipline. You know, a lot of our brethren are struggling with sexual discipline, meaning that we all love women, but a lot of brethren have problems disciplining themselves in terms of that part. You know, they will sleep with women without getting to know the sister because she look good, and a lot of things. Does this book give any techniques or address that part of consciousness of that sexual discipline? Because I think
that discipline comes once you achieve the consciousness, that mental and that higher consciousness of a man. Those things like that are just what you call it's not relevant anymore. It's not relevant anymore because it's just you're just looking at the physical aspect, you know, of man. And you cannot uphold the physical aspect of man if you don't uphold the cultural aspect of man. If you don't, could you uphold the commonality of a man and don't uphold the commonality of a woman? Right? Man and woman is one. Man and woman is, if it wasn't for woman, man wouldn't be here. It was, you know, their teachings are their teachings are that there was a story of somebody called Adam and Eve, and how Eve came out, from Adam, Eve came. But African reality teaches that is woman who was here first. Woman who was here first, the feminine energy. It is feminine energy what combined with the male energy that brings the child energy, right? Woman is a reproductive organ, the powerful energy. So but not at all that the female is higher than the male or the male is higher than the female. It's oneness, and that is when we achieved that commonness. Then if you achieve that commonness between you, a man, as arriving at that, you would not treat your woman in a way of degrading her. You will uphold her, and vice versa. If people cannot commonly come together, or there are problems, which you will have problems, but at the end of the day, you don't exploit your sister, and your sister don't exploit her brother, in terms of the oneness that within that could hold the whole family together as a glue. It takes a certain level of a glue. So if you understand Rastafari, if you understand that level of higher consciousness within higher Rastafari, you will know that the respect, which is the quality, that is the what we call in economics, when we reach the equilibrium, right? That is where demand and supply meets together. So when you and your woman could arrive at that level of equality, equilibrium, that is where the whole, because it's no longer, if you with your woman, whether you go through the system and call her legally a wife, or which is, if you go through if you didn't go through the system, but she's still a wife, because one strength comes out of a marriage, comes out of a union, it's a marriage, because the trend is a marriage, especially in our ancient African societies. And right, the trend of the marriage. The trend is the glue between and therefore, when we look at things, it's not, one is not above the other is above the other one. Is, my mother used to always say to us, what is good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Which is like, you have to uphold both the male and the female energy, because the energy is a combination of two different energy force, right? The female energy, in terms of, if you look at the female energy in terms of plants, in terms of animals, etc., you see the power within that energy, because the female energy is the one that is so like motherly, right? That is why women sometimes, or most times, are more, what do you call, emotional, and on certain levels, right? But you have to understand that too. That is also gives them a certain amount of power. J. Rogers pinpointed in Real Facts About Ethiopia. He said the power of the Ethiopian woman in the time of a battle. He said, oh, when the Ethiopian woman, when the Ethiopian woman comes across her enemy, she doesn't have any mercy for him or for him. No mercy at all. She said, while the man, the male soldier, may let him go, or leave him if he's in a pit, or wherever it is, and say, let's leave him and he go die. The Ethiopian woman is not going to let him go. She's gonna make sure he's dead. That's how she deals with her enemy. That's why in the Battle of Adwa, you had Empress Taitu was running her own battalion as an empress, and was taking plenty enemies that taking them out. So the whole point of from what you refer to, I would say that if we look certain things, we do a lot of talking as people. We run our mouths a lot because of why we look for the things that are abstract and we hold on to rather than the practical aspects of it. If we look at the aspects in terms of we look at Their Majesty Haile Selassie the First, and we look at how he dealt with his own life in terms of family background, his wife Empress Menen, right? Um, you will see that there were reverence there. There's a certain amount of respect between Their Majesty and his wife, Empress Menen. So it's the same kind of reference we should have in terms of with our sisters too. Even if things didn't go the way it's supposed to go, there should always be respect because
Yes.
between a man and a woman, and especially if relationships were there, and especially if they were children that come out of the marriage and so on, you
I
know.
love
So
that. I love that.
you know. So we must have reverence. Another thing is that we must have reverence. A lot of times women have children outside of the current relationship. We have to be able to respect those relationships and respect that the children who come out of the relationship, we must be able to, we must be able to respect them and don't come between that. And if one of the things we in this time we will say, this is my stepchild, this is my, and that creates a lot of problems because when a person sees somebody as his stepchild or his half brother or his half sister, it creates a wall.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's not an African concept.
no, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not an African concept. So we have to. There's a lot of things we need to just to try and uh, uphold. And I mean, and I don't expect us to uphold it in one day because we were ill prepared. This whole system, we were ill prepared to deal with it. We went through it over 400 to 500 years, whether it's in the Caribbean or here in North America, etc. We went through a whole period of time of where a man could even marry. You were making trend, you were making trend with someone who just for making trend for the slave master,
Yes.
especially after the slave trade was abolished, and
Yes.
therefore people were dealing with slaves as a contraband, bringing in slaves. But a lot of people were breaking. Whatever slaves were born on your plantation was yours, and you could make profit out of it. And a lot of slave owners made a lot of money out of just having slaves breed
Breeding farm.
breeding farms, and so these are some of the things. So when you hear people say, okay, I hear both Obama and man who to be Dr. Hospital Cosby, Bill Cosby,
Yeah.
they really put some blows on some the black man and say he wasn't he wasn't he like a deadbeat father. But
Yes.
the black man didn't just become a deadbeat father just like that.
No.
The system made him into a deadbeat father, program him into a
Programming.
deadbeat father. So when you just look at another black man and say that these are black deadbeat people as fathers, you making a calculating mistake because you're making an error based on the whole system of white supremacy who create
Mm.
this whole situation.
emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but
Exactly.
ourselves can free our mind. I want to just take time to show this. I just got this in the mail from Dr. Asantewa. This is the Empress Menen magazine. Very beautiful.
Yes.
Available at meninchronicles.com.
Yes.
Um, you can see, full color, all kind of reasoning about Empress Menen and uh, powerful black women. It's really a nice piece of work. You can see how well it was put together. So make sure you support. Go to meninchronicles.com and order your copy of this magazine.
And we have added here as well.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so Frontline is in there. Men in Chronicles. This is Dr. Asantua Pongwade, one of our favorite guests here on the Lion Voice Network. Make sure you support. Very, very important. Before we go on to the next work, I saw um, one of our elders today at the Africa Day, Africa Liberation Day. Elder Shabaka, he said, love, peace, and unity met my Idrin at African Liberation Day. Well worth my time and effort. Respect to the Rasta soldiers today, male and female, one love. We're building such a powerful family here on the Lion Voice Network, and it's a joy when I get to meet people who have been in the comment section in person. The elder came up to I so joyful and said, I'm the brethren, you know what I mean? And he identified himself, and we all a little joy together in the physical, because even though this is a digital platform, we're dealing with real people. So I just wanted to take time, because I told the elder, I'm going to shout out the eye next time I see you in the comments, because anytime now I can put a face to the comment, you know what I mean? And I give thanks when I see that, because it makes me know that what we're doing here is real. Even though our numbers may not be, 10,000 on a live, which we'll get there. We'll get there. It might be 30 people on a live, but I value each and every one of the item. And when I get to meet the item in real life, it really is a joy. So I just want to blot that sound. Big up yourself, Elder Shabaka. I didn't know it was an elder, but he is an ancient of days. And big up yourself, Elder. It really was a joy to see the eye today. And give thanks for the kind words and the encouragement, because you encourage I to keep going with the platform, keep building. And these are the things, because as the item know, it's not easy committing this time, all of the time, to all of the work to keep a platform like this revving. But we give thanks. All right, Ras Sekou, what is our next work?
Next book is one of my special books. Everyone should have a copy or need to have a copy. And we hope soon enough to have it also as a audiobook very shortly. And without further ado, I refer you to The Wise Mind of Haile Selassie. Just came out in press again, in terms of, here for the people. Here for the people. It's like a pocket book. I always, when the Prince Amias, Haile, when they came to me in terms of reference for us to put out this book for them, I always saw the book as being a pocket book. I always saw the importance of it, once having it as a weapon in their pockets or their purses and so on. That if you're on a train and you feel to take a read of inspiration, you can do that on the bus. If you want to lunchtime, you want to get a little inspiration. The humanity is inspire ones and ones on all different levels and all different areas in terms of where we are as Black people, as African people. It is a continuous inspiration, I think that is something. We look at the whole idea of when we look at this book, and why we made this book, because we referred to this book before, but is we think that all people, man, woman, and child, should have a copy of this book and arm themselves with a copy of this book. And we are thankful for Amias, the grandson of the High Majesty, who spent time with him, traveled to the Caribbean with him, and he took time to extract these powerful word sound for ones and ones. Not only Rastafari people, but non-Rastafari people. I was going through uh, Canada one day years ago, and they went through, and I met with I think it was a custom officer, white man, and I had this coin with the High Majesty around my neck, and he said to me, I don't think I think I left my. In fact, I think I left my documents. I was traveling without documents, and he said, "You're a Rasta man. Yeah, this is Haile Selassie." And just with that, he was able to make me pass through customs and immigration without any documents coming back from Canada. But I just went over. Where you call Windsor, right? So I just showing you the power of the High Majesty, because the High Majesty had traveled throughout Canada, right, in
Yes.
1967 with the whole Expo 67. If you, I don't know if you read or heard about it, and you spend a lot of time in Canada and so on. So I just draw reference to the importance of the speeches and how they are bridged into this document. And I was glad to put forward to work with Umayas and Prince Umayas to bring this book forward into living, because the elders at the time when this book first came out in 2004 decided that this book should be read by all Rastafari people, because Haile Selassie, this is like a weapon for once in this time. We have the speech made to the UN in 1966, 1963 actually, when which these powerful words were made into song, put into song by no other than our dear brother Robert Nesta Marley,
Yes.
and called War, right? But this was a voice words penned by the Majesty, and when he talk about equal rights, when he said that until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, until those days, that day come, until that day, there'll always be war. Hence the reason the war in Iran is about land, is about resources, is about oil, is about petroleum. The war in in Venezuela, where they were killing and still killing people on the shores of the Caribbean, and
Mm.
and so on, is based on what? Resources, oil, land, water, emeralds, gold. Because what we have today taking place, the High Majesty warn us. He said, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significant than the color of his eyes, until that day, there will be war. And if we don't take warning, what will happen? What will happen if we don't take warning? We're going to have disaster. Hence the reason why we are in a state of disaster today, because we must look before we leap.
Yes.
If we look
Yes, sir.
before we leap, we would not make the error that we find ourselves in today. No other president took the bait to attack Iran. It come like if I see all my brethren on crack cocaine and I see what they do to them. Yet someone come and introduce me to crack cocaine and I say, yeah man, let me take a thing. And then when calamities hit me now, I say the crack cocaine. Like if I didn't see the examples and if that make me feel that I was immune, you're not immune if you see it happen to casualties around you. You're not immune. You're ill prepared. And that is a problem even today, even with Rastafari. And that is why the importance of Haile Selassie work, the High Majesty's work, is very important. The wise mind of the Haile Selassie. Because it's the whole question of having wise mind that we could be able to look and see. And therefore when we look, we could leap. Because not everything we hear, we talk. And not everything we see, we talk. So we can't be Rastafari if we don't know who Haile Selassie is, if we don't know what Haile Selassie say about education, if we don't know what Haile Selassie say about war, if we don't know what Haile Selassie say about cultural awareness, if we don't know what Haile Selassie say about spirituality, then that is the case. We don't need to use the word Rastafari. We don't need to say we are Rastafari because we don't know anything about Haile Selassie the first.
Hot. I feel the same
Haile
way.
Selassie didn't tell I and I to embrace him. It's I and I elders who saw the
Yes.
importance. My father, my grandfather, my mother's father. And strange enough, I never can't recall my mother's father, but he said to my mother, if it's one man he would like to see before he make his transformation, it's Haile Selassie. He never see him, but I and his other grandchildren were able to see him. And then I am told one of my cousins saw me and then told my sister, oh, I look so much like my grandfather. The same grandfather who told my mother that she must look whenever she had a chance to see Haile Selassie, she must do that. And that was she insists that we see Haile Selassie as a son and daughter. Hence
Serious,
the
sir.
reason, more importance for us to use the wise mind of Haile Selassie as a weapon, as a form of where we could get get solace. We could
And
retreat.
and
We
I
could go
tell
into our inner
people,
self, into
I
our
tell
higher consciousness
yes,
and embrace.
I tell people all
So
the
this is
time.
not words just for yesterday. It's words for today and for the future generation. Because as I said before, the trend are the flowers, the trend are the future, the trends are the yesterdays. We are the and therefore the trend being the yesterdays, the trend going to be today, and the trend going to be the future. Because without weed, there will be no them.
Yes.
And
I
it's the same way. It's a continuation. It's a continuation of life. We have to continue the great works and uphold the great works of Haile Selassie the First, the wise mind, a powerful weapon, a powerful piece. You have your shirt pocket, they put it in your shirt pocket. You have your bag, your knapsack, you put it in your knapsack. If a woman and have your bag, you put it in your bag. So when most women, if you lift up the bag is all 5-10 pounds. So all they do is just drop a wise man in the bag. So you can take time and read. All of us, woman, man, and children. Give thanks.
Give thanks, give thanks. And I tell people there's no shame if you have locks and you don't recite His Majesty to call
Rasquasi?
yourself. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear my voice in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you can hear I. Are you hearing I, Ras Sekou? Yeah, I can hear I. Ras Sekou? Okay, they can hear I. They are not hearing I, Ras Sekou? Okay. We're gonna work on the sound. We're gonna work on the sound. But I tell people there's no shame if you don't cite His Majesty teaching to call yourself a Pan-African. Not everybody have to be Rastafari. You know, a lot of people are going around calling themselves Rastafari and contradicting His Majesty teachings, and that don't make no sense to I. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to be Rastafari. Yes, I know that Rastafari have a certain vibes, but you don't have to be Rastafari. We still love the eye as a Pan-African. You know what I mean? We still love the eye as just a conscious black man. You don't have to come into Rastafari and confuse up the people, because this is not something where you go and come in and give your own teaching and create some different vibration. His Majesty is the leader, unquestioned. He's the head of the movement, the head of the liberty, the head of everything where we defend. And to that end, you know what I mean, wise mind, enough of the artists that I reason with, when I ask them about their journey to Rastafari, they cite this book as being one of the seminal things that, you know, give them, because not everybody is like I and I as a Reading Ras that go and read every autobiography, read every book, you know, and go deep. Some people just need a little vibes to keep them on the right track. And this book is very comprehensive to keep you on the right track. And it's a beautiful gift that you can also give. So consider also using this as a gift. You know what I mean? It's under $15. If you have one already, buy it for someone else. Again, we don't just bring the elder here to talk. We bring the elder here to drive business to Frontline Books, one of our foundation institutions in the Rastafari liberty and in the Pan-African liberty. And now that we're in the digital space, we want the global family to order books from Frontline and to support our elder Rastafari. You know what I mean? Brethren said that I just sent an email to Ras Sekou, but it appears that the inbox is full and cannot receive my email. All right, we're gonna talk to Ras Sekou and see if we can sort that out. This is why it's good for us to come online.
Yes, I.
Yes, Ras Sekou.
Yes, I.
This brethren here is saying that he sent you an email and the inbox came back as full and cannot receive the email.
What email address you used?
Write the email address you use. I think this is Simba out of brethren is calling from I think St. Kitts, was it? The brethren is, let me see where the brethren is sounding in from. But put which email that I use.
Frontline Books.
So that
Frontline
we
Books
can.
1017. Frontline Books 1017 at gmail.com.
Okay. Yes, the brethren is calling in from St. Kitts. So you heard that, brethren. Use that email. Use that email. Again, this is a
Frontline
community.
Books.
Yes.
Frontline
We're a
Books
yes.
1017@gmail.com.
1017. So you heard that. We are a community here. We are building that resilience and economic foundation. We have the every mickle make a muckle strategy, the one cocoa full basket philosophy that we use here on the Lion Voice Network. And we are using that to build an economic base that is powerful. And remember that tomorrow we're going to be meeting our town hall meeting. So if you're not part of our monthly subscription, our Patreon, we're asking to join. We need 2 more people to join to get us past 50 people. So if you're not a member, you can join for as low as $5 a month, which is $1.25 every week, every strong. So if you can, and you are part of the Lion Pride and you love this content and you love what we're doing, the best way you can support us is by becoming a part of our Patreon. The vision is that we are creating a community that's going to be rallying around to really help to strengthen and fill some of the gaps that we see in our movement globally. And with a strong media platform that's well resourced, there is so much that we can get done. But we need, again, everybody to put in their little $5, their $10. The first employee that we're going to hire here at the Lion Voice Network is I. So I can be full-time. And we also want to travel and do more vlogs, more on-set, travel to the different Caribbean islands and highlight some of the works that are happening, show the works, travel through Africa. So some of the people, you see the Wi-Fi is terrible. So we would love to be able to go to these places so we can sit down with the people with a proper camera, proper mics, and really get some high quality footage and be able to put out. But we can't do that without the budget and without the staff. So your monthly contribution will help us to get there. As Just Servant said, I Show Speed started out with 30 people on his live, and now we have 50 million on a stream and all kind of craziness. So we know that you got to start somewhere. We've been doing this for 4 years now. October, we're going to celebrate our 5-year anniversary online, consistently posting. We have over 1,000 pieces of content on the channel now. We have the largest archive of Rastafari women on the planet, largest archive of Rastafari elders. We have several seminal interviews of elders who are now ancestors on the platform who gave their last living interview to the Lion Voice Network. That's part of the archive now. So we are doing some important work here, but we need to scale the work and to make it greater. And we will do that. We will do that. He said the email went through. So give thanks. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. And let me just say this. This book here is one of the most powerful things that has happened to the Rastafari movement. As I said, a lot of youths, this is their window to His Majesty, because before this is just the artists alone that people were using to know His Majesty. This is a lot of people's first introduction to the actual teaching of His Majesty and the world view of His Majesty first comes through this very book here. And it is something that has changed lives. I've heard the testimonies. We have some of them here on the Lion Voice Network. If you haven't seen our interview with Rasai, a young Rastafari artist that is doing very well right now. If you haven't seen that interview, check it out on the channel. I think we have over 3,000 views on that interview. But that brethren said, this book was part of his uprising, or even though he's second generation Rastafari, it was this book when he started to check Rastafari for himself. This was the book that really made him go deeper and really help to strengthen his faith. So we can't underestimate, as I say, give this book as a gift to a young warrior. And I would love, as Lion Voice Network, to be able to just purchase this in bulk and just pass them out in Africa for free, because that's how we're going to impact the youths of Africa, is just flood the place with these type of books. And again, Ras Sekou has a vision of having Frontline in all of the African countries, like Barnes and Nobles in America. We want Frontline books in every African country. So we do that by buying the books here and building the movement piece by piece. Any final sounds on this book here, Ras Sekou?
Yes, as I said, one should arm themselves with a wise mind. This is a book that we need to have in our possession, in our pockets, in our bags. We just need to have it. That's we don't want to pull aside, one away. We just open up the wise mind and see what the High Majesty had to say on spirituality, or what he had to say on education, or what he had to say on equality and humanity and so on. This is a book for both man, woman, and child, senior and junior, and everyone should make sure and have a copy. It's not this is not a man thing or a woman thing, or it's a thing for the whole family need to sometime read. It's like, let me hear what the image you say. Let me inspire ourselves as not only just Rastafari people, but as Black people, as African people, as poor people, as humble people. Let us get a copy. It's like the black print, for I and I is the Rastafari print, is the African print. Yeah, the wise mind of Haile Selassie. Get your copy. Yes, I.
Yes, I give thanks. Haile Selassie is our leader. And this is one way we're going to get rid of the loosey-goosey out of the Rastafari movement, is really focusing on the teachings. A lot of people get away with the loosey-goosey because people don't know the teaching of His Majesty. They don't know about the discipline that His Majesty have. When His Majesty have words on work, responsibility, these things will strengthen up your resolve and show you that as a man or a woman, Rastafari is a serious trad. This is not a hippie trad. This is not for the loosey-goosey crowd. You know what I mean? This is a lion trad. So give thanks. All right, so let's go to our final book for African Liberation Month.
Yes. This
Honorable Marcus.
Honorable Marcus Garvey. Yes, lessons for African people. Lessons for African people. Yes, the last course, the first and last course on African philosophy. And it's important for us to read and study this document. First class and only class of 1937, held in Halifax, in Canada, when after Haile Selassie was expelled from the United States in 1927. He returned to Jamaica and he organized a political organization. He organized, and then he said, since I can't come back to the United States, I want to teach a class. All of my best cadres, the best people who were running the different UNI branches and chapters, whether they was in St. Louis, whether they were in Panama, Costa Rica, etc., Liberia. He called together a class, and from this class, this is the book. So this is the closest that you will find of something written by Marcus Garvey. Because there's no real book written by Marcus Garvey. They're all are writings but this one you could say is something written by Garvey because it's a class he actually taught in 1937. So this is a very important piece. And it's therefore we uphold it because it tells you all about organization, the importance of organization, the importance of propaganda. And you look at what the kind of propaganda you have in terms of when you say support your black media, like Lion Pride. That is the importance of being able to teach yourself your own history, your own culture, your own value system. This is important. Marcus Garvey, the Right Honorable. You got to get a copy, only as low as $14. Copy of Lessons for African People. A very important piece, valuable piece for all members of the nation, all over Africa, all over the Caribbean, all over North and South America, everyone all over Europe, all African people, all black people should have a copy of this Lesson for African People. And he says, Garvey says, this is a book. Garvey said, we want to go back to Africa. Yes, black people should, but not all Africa, not all black people should go back to Africa. He said some are lazy here and they will be lazy there. So those people, we don't want them back there. They could stay in the West and let the West deal with you. But if you want to build progress and development, therefore you will know that you are called because the continent await you. So this is the power of Marcus Garvey. This is the lessons for African people.
What a powerhouse. We do give thanks. We want to really again recommend that one support these books. This is our royal elder, Ras Sekou Tafari.
And one of the reasons, Ras Tafari, we suggest these books, especially this one, is because this month we call it the Pan-African month, the month when we support and celebrate. The month of May, African Liberation Day. We celebrate May 1st, when we say Workers of the World Unite. So Labor Day, May Day. We also rally around the wise mind, and we talk about we talk about Haile Selassie's speech, and very important in terms of the speech of unity for us to unite as a people. And Garvey called for that same unification. He called for the organization of the importance of organization, because it's one thing you could talk one thing, but organization is important. Building organization, having a newspaper, a propaganda piece, a radio platform. Imagine Garvey was able to build over 7 to 8 million people. And Garvey didn't have nothing what we call, what we could say, no, we could stream and all that kind of stuff. No, we could stream. So you could imagine if Garvey could have built an organization with over 7 million, say 10 million people. What would he be able to build now? People used to take the newspaper, the Nation newspaper, the Black Man newspaper, and strap it around their stomachs, and they will take it to South Africa, take it to Costa Rica, Panama, etc. That is how those newspapers were able to spread from one part of the world to the next part of the world. People as far as South Africa, Kimberley in South Africa were able to get Marcus Garvey papers. So that is without any internet. Now we have internet.
Yes.
Billions of people. on the planet. Over 8.1 billion people live on this planet, what we call Earth. So we have to do, our power is to raise the level of consciousness so that Black people would understand who they are, comprehend who they are, and be able to understand their own history and their own culture as a people. Why we are in the state that we're in? We're in the state that we're in because we cannot continue to blame it on slavery, because we have the onus is on us to take that responsibility to re-educate ourselves. Not everything our parents told us is true, but we have the power now to read and to understand and to discern. Because if your parents call you John, and you choose a name from John and call yourself Kwame, or Kwesi, or Olafemi, or it's because you see that as important. Because they didn't even know their name. Because they held on to something and think it's real. Catholicism. They held on to being a Pentecostal. How could you be a Black man and be a Pentecostal? How could you be a Black man and be a Methodist? Or a Seventh-day Adventist? So these are some of the realities. So the whole idea of what? Re-education. We have to re-educate ourselves. That is the power.
That
That
is
is
the
the power
power.
of Garvey. That is the power of Haile Selassie. That is the power of the higher consciousness. We must educate our own self. We take that responsibility as African people, as Black people, as humanity. Ilya.
Selassie the first. We have a question here from Ras
Yes,
Roots.
Ras Tafari.
Yes, can you hear I? Ras Roots is asking if it's available in a single copy. He's only seeing it in the bundle, and I have the bundle up here. I was also looking for the single copy to show on the screen. Is it available on the website? Ras Sekou? Okay, I think we have a little issue with the sound again. Ras Sekou? All right, we're gonna sort that out. But again, Frontline, frontline.com. You can see it below. Go to the website. Purchase a book, any book that you like. We highlight 3 books every month, but the idea is just to keep the traffic going to the website and knowing that we have this resource in our community. Of course, I am the Reading Ras, and so I always promote the reading of physical books. You can see my logo, Reading Ras logo, a Ras reading a book. We want to make reading books a thing again. You know what I mean? Right now, the youths, them are all plugged in online. We want, as part of our culture, maintaining that anciency of, the tactile, having the physical book, flipping through the pages, focusing page by page, reading the books, very crucial. I'm also an author. I don't know how many of the items. Let me know in the comments if you have my book and if you have read my book, Haile Selassie's Ethiopia, Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings. Let me know in the comment section, everybody who has read the book. I read it, I wrote it like an epic fantasy to try to make it more interesting. Let me know. I've gotten so many positive comments on the book. Let me know if you have bought the book or if you have read the book in the comment section. And also just to the family to know that we are serious about reading, and again, reading of physical books, because everybody is online and we have the illusion that all the knowledge is online, but that's not true. And you know that when you're doing research and you're looking for sources and you find out so you can't find them online. So a lot of people think everything is online, but no, books is still the primary place that you're going to find knowledge. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we keep the physical book as part of our livity. No matter what happens, no matter how advanced we get as a people, physical books, you know what I mean? You're asking if we buy from Frontline, you know what I mean? Not you're talking about my book. Oh, my book. Oh, yes, my book is available on my website. We're gonna have to see if we can get it through Frontline at some point. My book is available at thechasmatchkwasi.com. Or you can get it on Amazon, but Amazon, they take a lot of money, so we prefer you buy it through Dotty Bookman Publishing, which you can get the link on my website. But we're gonna work out something at some point. Okay, Akashic said he has the book. He sells copies at iRoots Records also. Big up yourself, Akashic, for the support. You know what I mean? Just Servant said you have Kindle electronic books. I hope that your books is also electronically seen. It's available on Kindle. So you can get my book on Kindle on Amazon as well. But the key is reading physical books. That's what we want. With the Reading Ras on the Frontline series, I asked Ras Sekou if he could come. This is a very busy elder. He's so kind to give us his time to come every month, to recommend 3 books every month. So the least that we can do is support with buying the books. And I know we're in hard economic times. I know we are struggling, you know, some of us hand to mouth, some of us paycheck to paycheck, but we still have to invest, because I know everybody have a flat screen TV. I know everybody have nice shoes with them buy and nice clothes. You know what I mean? So we have to find money for what we want. I know most people, them a buy them herb, $50 bag, you know what I mean, $100 bag of herb. People finding the money for what they want. So we have to find money for books. And every Ras, every Pan-African should have their true berry well stocked, you know what I mean? Well stocked. You see our brethren here, Kath Madu, who changed his name every episode, always giving a lot of facts. You can tell the brethren read a lot, you know what I mean? We have to read, you know what I mean? We have to read, you know, the same I say, we have to read, family. That is so critical to everything that we are doing. Stay sharp, support the Frontline books, support everything with this Armageddon coming. We're not even coming, this Armageddon that's here. It's important that we stay sharp. And we also have to talk about the impact of books on your mental health. You know, instead of you just there, your mind just wandering, reading helps to focus. It builds the muscle of your mind to sit and focus and read. You're helping to strengthen your mind. The same way like how you would lift weights, the same way like how you would do pull-ups, the same way like how you would do your squats and build your physical tempo. Reading is your mental exercise, your way to keep your mind sharp, to test your theories, you know what I mean, and make sure that you are, you have something to say, you know what I mean? You have something to say. If you're an artist, even more. One of the reasons that I'm on full of lyrics is because I read. So you have things to say because you read a lot. You know what I mean? Big up man like Kabaka Pyramid, who is also an avid reader. good brethren of mine. If you haven't seen the Kabaka interview on the channel, go check that out too. Next reader, you know what I mean? Lyrics, man. You are lyrics, you read books. Books are so crucial to everything that we do. And it really thing. If you keep scrolling on the page, you will see the book. It's not in the shop. The shop is the merch, but keep scrolling down on the website. You'll see my book there. All right. Give thanks. Give thanks. Yes, I. You see everything right there. So, Ras Sekou,
That's right.
give us your final thoughts. Anything that I want to share. What's happening there in Chicago?
Well,
Just give us a wrap up of everything.
well, we want to say that we are in a very crucial state. Some people say that we talking about peace and a peace treaty, but I really don't see it. We are arriving at a peace treaty because um, I don't think that you have to have a certain amount of humility in order to talk about peace. You can't create war and then talk and then expect you're gonna bully people to in terms of peace. You know, so I don't know if we're gonna have peace. I think that the peace is not imminent yet. When peace is imminent is when we have to be able to respect one another in this crucial time. So there's not a matter of I am big and you are small. It's not a matter that I'm a richer country and you're a smaller country. It's not a matter of geography. It's a matter that we must respect humanity. We must respect human beings. We must respect people whether you agree their religion or not. You have to respect people, and that is something that we have to arrive at that. Whereby humanity must be able to respect one another. So you don't tear down an next person because you don't agree with them in terms of their religious perspective. So this could end up being like a crusade where it's Islam against Christianity. And that comes from the whole idea of it comes back again back to white supremacy. It comes back to the question of whether or not we going to respect another person in terms of whether we agree with that perspective or not. So you just cannot jump up and attack a person physically, you know, and then expect them to turn the other cheek. That is not real. That is not real. So so at this point in time, we gotta listen to Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey said, liberate the minds of men. Liberate the minds of men so that they may liberate the bodies of men. So you had to liberate the minds of men first. When you liberate the minds of men, as Kwasi said, the mind is important to read. So when you read, then you could start to become liberated. That is how you could understand and know how to deal with colonialism and neo-colonialism. That is how you could know to deal with what is imperialism and what is not imperialism. That is how you could know what is capitalism and what is not capitalism. That is how you could differentiate. If you don't read, then you wouldn't understand and know where we are and where you are and where you stand in this struggle as a human being. So liberate the minds of men so that you liberate the bodies of men. So the mind must be liberated. The muscles of the mind, the brain. We must read. We must study. We must educate ourselves. We must know another person's geography. Geography is a crucial piece. So you can know if somebody tell it in Australia, you must be able to pity Australia where Australia is between what and what. If somebody tell you they in Tanzania, South Africa, you must be able to pity. When you tell me it's North America, I must be able to pity. What is North America? If I have in Brazil, I must be able to know where is Chicago. I'm in Chicago. If I know somebody in Georgia, I must be able to picture Georgia on the map of America. So geography is very crucial. History is very crucial to understand where people were, who are the people, and what they do, their whole civilization. How we could compare, how we must have reverence for civilization. You must have respect. You have to respect and have reverence for Ethiopia. You have to have reverence for Kemet. These are old civilizations. Yes, I give thanks.
Thanks, Ras Sekou. Again, another powerful episode of Reading Ras on the front line. This is a monthly series. Again, I'm going to be following up with my elder to see who has purchased books. Before you went through, Ras Roots was asking if, because we couldn't find the Marcus Garvey Lessons book outside of the bundle on the website. Is there a link?
Yes.
Is there a link on the website to buy it
Yes,
separate?
you could buy it separately.
So just how should he do that? Just send an email.
Just go on the website and order it as a you want to order the lessons for African people.
Yeah, we're not seeing the individual link for the outside of the
Yeah,
bundle on the
maybe
website.
but you could order it on the
Okay,
website. You could order it. Yeah.
All right. So just send a message through the website, Ras
Yeah.
Roots, and
Yeah.
they'll
You
sort it out.
want a copy of it, and we'll sort it out.
Yeah, man, definitely. And again, I give thanks for everyone who has been buying the books as we've been doing this series. Because I know a few of the items have been buying the books. Give thanks. Frontline is one of our foundation sponsors. And we are working together. We're going to grow together. So when we're at 1 million subscribers, we're still Frontline same way. Because again, we want Frontline in every African country. We want to make sure this is part of the ecosystem that we're building, the Ras Tafari ecosystem. It's not just media by itself. Media has to be supported with literature. Literature has to be supported with entertainment, with schools, with hospitals, health centers. We're going to build each piece of the ecosystem as we get more powerful, because guess what? There are already people doing all of the different parts of the ecosystem already. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Lion Voice Network doesn't have to be all things to all people. We just have to play our role. Our role right now is to gather the people, and that's what we're doing. 72,000 strong. We're gathering the people. And, you know, what we do when we gather them now is to mobilize them, call them to action so that they can direct their capital, so we can now have capital for our businesses and services. We got to put money in the hands of the workers, you know what I mean? And a lot of times our workers didn't have places to advertise because they go on a Jamaica vlogger platform. The people not there to see that type of content. They go on just a regular conscious platform. Maybe they don't want Rastafari products or services. So when we create this platform now, so we gather people who love this type of content, so that people now can advertise to the people who are looking for that. So we want the item, now that you're here gathered, to spend your money. That's the next step, not just on fast food, or you're buying a plate of ital. You know, in St. Croix, I always joke, a plate of ital in St. Croix is $30, you know. So we have money, you know what I mean? We have money, but we're spending it on different things. We need to be able to take that money and spend it with each other and spend it on critical things that are going to make a difference for our children and our children's children. We can't leave nothing but philosophy for our children. Our elders left a legacy for us that everywhere I go on the planet Earth, Rastafari is respected by the grassroots. You know what I mean? That was done by our elders. Now, as our gratitude, we have to leave physical buildings and institutions that the next generation can come and they can work in these institutions. We can hire them. We can inspire them by what they see. And that is our work. And we do that by supporting what is there. We don't have to imagine Frontline Books. Frontline Books is an institution within our community. Lion Voice Network is an institution that we're building within our community. So these are institutions that the IDEM can support right now. And before we trod, again, I need we're 2 Lion Pride members away from having 50 people in our monthly subscription. So I'm asking 2 of the IDEM to sign up on Patreon and get us over that 50 mark that we've been trying to get over for 4 years. 4 years and we don't reach over 50 with over 70,000 subscribers. It look away, but I'm okay with that because without failure, you can never see success. So we don't fear failure. Failure is just part of the journey. But we're going to keep on pushing until we get past that mark. And once we hit 50, the next goal is 100. But we have to pass 50. And we're only 2 away from 50. Once we hit 50, we're going to start our micro grant program. We'll be giving $100 away every month to a worker within the Rastafari Pan-African community. We're going to vote on it in our monthly member meetings. And we're going to present them with that $100 and we're going to give them an interview to highlight their work. Just a little encouragement, a little stipend to show that we see what you're doing. And as a community, we love the eye and we support the eye. And then as the channel grows, that grant will grow bigger and bigger until, I don't know if the item know the biggest YouTuber. His name is Mr. Beast. I don't know why he call himself a beast, but Mr. Beast just goes around and give out money. He will drop a 10,000 on a person or a 50,000 on a person just because him feel like it. We would love to get to that stage, but Mr. Beast have probably 1 billion subscribers. I don't know how much him have, but him have plenty. But these are things that we can do collectively if we have the numbers and we have the people supporting monthly. So we want to get into that business of being able to give grants. We want to be able to sponsor festivals, sponsor events, show up, string up a camera crew. We want to have correspondents in different regions that we can pay to bring us news, to video and film, just like how we had Sister Cheryl at Rebel Salute and she sent in some footage. We want to be able to pay people to do that all over the world so that we have news programs on the Lion Voice Network, proper news program where we have reporters reporting in on Rastafari works and positive works everywhere so that the item can see the uprising happening, so the young people can see and be inspired to do more work and to do more and to know that when they do the work, they will be celebrated. So that is what we are building here on the Lion Voice Network. We give thanks for Ras Sekou for always as an elder guiding us and reaching out to us and saying, I love what you're doing. We want to spend our marketing dollars with the Lion Voice Network. Let us grow together. That meant the world to I, because again, it shows that people are watching and they love and they support with more than just kind words. They put in their money where their mouth is. And in return for the elder putting his trust in I asking the I them who love I and I to support the elder. So this is the Ubuntu principle. I am because we are. So this is the Ubuntu that we are putting into effect. So the elder support I am supporting the elder, and we want the elders' investment in the Lion Voice Network because the elder is investing in the network. We want the investment to triple and quadruple and come forward to the 100-fold. And we do that by the item purchasing books. Big up our elder Bongo Wisely. Bongo Wisely never leave us an inch. Big up all of the Ianola family, St. Lucia family, Bongo Wisely. Big up yourself every time. Big up Akashic. He said that he always appreciates when Ras Sekou comes on the platform. Solid reasoning, you know. So people love what we're doing. And Ras Akashic, iRoots Records, he also has invested.
Greetings to Grassroots. Greetings to
Yes,
Grassroots.
yes. He's
More
also
power.
invested in the platform. So also support Grassroots by, and again, the first person I see send I proof of purchase from iRoots Records, I'm gonna send them something special from the Lion Voice Network. I just send us a email, or you can send me a DM. Let me know that you've made a purchase from iRoots Records. We'll send you something nice. If you're in North America, because the shipping. So just send a DM. We want all of our advertisers to get business through the platform. So again, we're not just building a platform for reasoning. We're building a commerce platform. That's the business model that we are empowering Rastafari business. So if you want to be part of this movement, you have a business, a service, you have an album you're releasing, you have a book you're releasing, reach out to us. We have competitive rates. You have a festival you're promoting. Reach out to us. We have competitive rates that we are sharing with the family so that, again, we can build up the platform and we can build our businesses. And if you're just a Lion Pride member, the best way to support the platform, again, is either becoming a monthly member or buying something from one of our guests, supporting our guests. The item Know the Vision, 50,000 people spending $10 with a guest, $500,000. We can do that twice as strong, you know what I mean, without putting any strain on any one individual. So it's about trusting the process, trusting the vision, trusting the vision. And if we do that over 12 months, 24 months, 3 years, you're going to see the Rastafari movement change. You're going to see this whole, how people perceive I change. You want real power? We got to show it through that economic strength. We got to show it by being able to have full-time businesses that have a budget and a staff. When we have a whole ecosystem of businesses with budgets and staffs, that is when you're going to see the Rastafari movement exercise another level of power. We have spiritual power, and we give thanks for the spiritual power that I don't think there's anything that can match the spiritual power of Rastafari. We proved that in the garrison, in the gully, in the high and the noble chambers. Rastafari has proven itself. Now we have to prove ourselves in the material realm, in terms of physical, being able to see ghetto youths and offer them a job, offer them training, offer them a place to stay, the homeless, the shelterless. That is now the level that we have to reach with Rastafari. And we do that by empowering our businesses, we empower our charities, we have non-profits, we empower all of those workers. If you notice, they're coming on Lion Voice Network. So we've established a platform where the item can meet these people and see that this trad is real. People are living this trad in real life. They're giving their lives to it. They're doing the real work. The myth that Rastafari is lazy, that all we do is smoke herb and run after women. We are eradicating that myth here. Does that happen? Of course it happens, but that is not the majority. Most of the serious Rastafari are doing powerful work, and we are providing a platform to highlight that work. So I give thanks for everyone who is being a part of this historic ecosystem that is emerging. It really is a joy to see it manifesting again. I ran into one of the elders who is in the comment section, who comments on the videos. He came up to introduce himself. And it's a joy because we're touching real people in real life again. And we're getting to see this family that we're building. So with that said, Ras Sekou, any final words, son?
Yes, it's important that we follow the creed. It's important that we follow the shepherd's prayer. It's important that we know let the hungry be fed, let the naked be clothed. You know, let the homeless be sheltered. And let it be nourished. Yes, it's very important. It's a creed. We have to hold on to the creed. Very, very crucial. So Ubuntu, I am that we are, is very important. And I want to say, just give thanks. And we want to remember Mama Walletti. I think her earth strong may more than likely it's tomorrow. So we want to remember our great sister, Mama Walletti. Let's give thanks.
One of our powerful contributors. And again, we're inviting. Yes, Ras Sekou will be joining us tomorrow for our town hall meeting. Again, we are welcoming Empress Danielle. Yes. Can they hear I? Ras Sekou? Isis? All right. Look like we have the sound issue, but we're sealing up, so we'll work it out. Ras Danielle will be joining us tomorrow. Ras Sekou will be in the house again with us tomorrow for the town hall meeting, our May town hall meeting. This is for our inner circle. It's not a public meeting. You do have to be a member of our monthly subscriber, our Patreon. We do have a IRI Patreon community, so that's off of YouTube. YouTube can kick us off at any time. So if you want to be part of the Patreon, you can actually join for free, and we repost the meetings usually. But this meeting, Empress Danielle has asked that we do not record her presentation because she will be sharing some sensitive information. But what we can share, we will share, just in terms of the preparation part of it. I think she's more concerned about some of the sources that she got the information from, because some inside information. So she don't want it out there. So she requested that we not record the actual presentation. But if you're there live, you will get the fullness. But we will, be talking about preparation. If you want to get deeper into emergency preparation, watch the episode we did with Baba Kwao on emergency preparedness and practical things you can do for your family to get prepared for what is to come. But we're going to be, again, doing deep dives as a channel in terms of emergency preparedness and just getting ready for what's coming, the calamity that is already unfolding. It is real. It is coming. There's no way that it's going to escape. Even if the conflict ended tomorrow, we are still going to have a serious situation that we haven't seen in our lifetimes. They're saying it's going to be worse than the 1930 Depression when it's all said and done. And again, we know it's going to be a long war. So let us prepare the European and the Arabs, them. The conflict is not going to stop. The battle is for world supremacy. And the African has to take our welfare into our own hands. We cannot depend on anyone, whether it's the BRICS countries, whether it's the G7, none of them, put Africa in the forefront. And we are the mothers and the fathers of civilization. So we have to put our own security and welfare in our own hands. Give thanks, Ras Sekou. I was just saying that I'm going to send the link to join us tomorrow.
Yes.
In our town hall meeting. So look out for that. And yeah, I just look forward. Again, we need 2 more people to hit 50 monthly subscribers. So I'm asking 2 of our Lion Pride to just join us tonight and join us tomorrow. And you can meet powerful people like Ras Roots, like Akashic, like so many other brethren and sistren who are part of our Lion Pride on Patreon that make the comment section so sweet every time. The greatest comment section on the planet. So that being said, family, we are going to sign off this edition of Reading Ras on the Frontline. It's been another classic episode. Big up yourself, Ras Sekou, every time.
Yes, sir. Naturally.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And make sure you buy the book and let us support our Rastafari businesses, economic solidarity, economic collective security. And that is it. You know that the time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice. Haile
Selassie.
Rastafari.
Yo, blessed love. This is Max Breeze. It's time for the Lions to tell their own story. See? God bless.
Blessed love. Yes, I. Lion Voice Network.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Ras Tafari. Lion of it, tried with lioness like I do. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Ras Tafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
The time has come for Lions to tell our own story. Yes, you're listening to Lion's Voice. I is Ras hailing from the island of St. Croix. Yeah, I'm bringing to Rastafari vibes. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Babylon born when Rasta come together. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Because Babylon done when I and I come together. Look how we live together, look how we work together, Oh, Babylon done when Rasta come together. Haile Rastafari, His Majesty and Empress men and blessed. Yeah man, hailing from Ras St. Croix, Ras Bacha hail you.
Aye.
Empress Manel, Alliance Science. Oh, you're wrong. Universally unfold, be told. Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the Lion's Voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use a yet an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Ras Tafari, the lion's voice.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Ras Tafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Ras Tafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.